When Take Me Home, Country Roads first hit the airwaves, John Denver looked like the perfect American dream. The gentle voice, the clean image, the man everyone trusted. But behind that warm smile was a life far more complicated than fans ever imagined. And the truth that eventually surfaced was darker, messier, and more heartbreaking than anyone expected. Because the real John Denver wasn't the flawless hero the world thought they knew. And what happened behind the scenes would shock millions. It all began on December 31st, 1943, when Henry John Deutschendorf was born in Roswell, New Mexico. From the outside, his childhood seemed almost magical. An Air Force family, a father who set world speed records, and a home filled with stories of the sky. But constant relocation left young Denver feeling rootless. Each time he began to settle, the family moved again. That endless sense of not belonging followed him into adulthood and shaped everything he would later write. At age 11, everything changed. His grandmother handed him a 1910 Gibson guitar, a fragile old instrument that became the only stable thing in his life. With it, Denver discovered the one place he truly felt at home: music. He joined the Tucson, Arizona Boys Chorus, learned harmony, and by high school he was performing folk songs publicly. But while music brought him peace, life at home was far from gentle. His father, Dutch, was strict, demanding perfection at all costs. Their relationship was tense, but they shared one passion that held them together: flying. The skies bonded them. And years later, that same sky would take everything from Denver. After high school, he tried studying architecture at Texas Tech, but his heart wasn't in blueprints. It was in songwriting. So he left school, moved to Los Angeles, and traded Deutschendorf for Denver, inspired by the Colorado landscapes that felt like home. Then came his first big break. Out of 200 singers, he was chosen as the lead for the Chad Mitchell Trio. Touring the country toughened his voice, sharpened his skills, and led him to write "Leaving on a Jet Plane," which soon became a #1 hit, even before he himself was famous. It was his first real sign that he wasn't just talented, he was special. And when the trio dissolved, Denver rose on his own. His breakthrough album, Poems, Prayers, and Promises, launched him into the 1970s spotlight, but Country Roads, the song that almost failed due to early sound issues, turned into a cultural phenomenon. With the push of his determined manager, the track soared to #2 on Billboard and eventually sold more than 1 million copies, then millions more in the digital era. But Denver wasn't done. In 1972, Rocky Mountain High became another anthem, cementing him as America's gentle voice of nature. By the mid-70s, he was unstoppable. 4 #1 hits in just 18 months, 3 blockbuster albums, and a popularity that rivaled Elvis himself. He wasn't just a musician, he was a global star. He crossed into acting, winning hearts alongside George Burns in Oh God, and surprising critics with his natural talent. His TV specials earned Emmy recognition, and his concerts connected him with audiences from the US to Europe to China. He even became a voice for free speech, testifying before the US Senate with a message that shocked many who assumed he'd support censorship. He used his fame for good, launching global hunger initiatives, raising environmental awareness, and dedicating his time to disaster relief. On the surface, he was everything fans believed him to be. But behind closed doors, a very different story was unfolding. His marriage to Annie Martel, the inspiration for Annie's song, slowly crumbled under the pressure of fame. Annie felt invisible, and Denver felt misunderstood. Their divorce brought out a side of him fans never expected. Heated arguments turned destructive. One fight ended with him taking a chainsaw to their furniture, even cutting their bed in half. The gentle folk hero the world admired was struggling with anger, jealousy, and emotional instability. His second marriage to Cassandra Delaney was even more turbulent. Her later interviews painted a picture of a man whose public sweetness hid private storms, sudden mood swings, controlling behavior, and a loneliness deeper than anyone realized. Denver himself confirmed many of these struggles in his autobiography. He admitted to substance use, infidelity, and moments where anger overtook him. Fans were stunned. The wholesome mountain troubadour had been fighting battles no one saw. And as his personal life faded into chaos, his career suffered. Musical trends shifted. RCA, the label he had built a fortune for, dropped him. No major label wanted him. he was left to rebuild his career on his own. His one refuge remained flying, the passion that once brought him closer to his father. But even that turned dangerous. DUIS led the FAA to deny his medical certificate, grounding him unless he proved sobriety. He ignored the warnings and kept flying anyway. Then, in October 1997, the unthinkable happened. Flying an experimental aircraft he barely knew, with barely any fuel, Denver lost control while trying to switch tanks. The plane plunged into the Pacific Ocean. Investigators later revealed the crash could have been avoided, a devastating conclusion that left fans heartbroken. Yet despite everything, the fame, the flaws, the fall, John Denver's legacy remains powerful. His music still fills stadiums, weddings, and mountain roads around the world. His environmental work continues through foundations he inspired. And his songs, Country Roads, Annie's Song, Rocky Mountain High, live on, timeless and full of hope.